For the extendable wing frame, I followed a tutorial I found on YouTube, which was an adventure in itself, so I'll just leave the link in the description box below. I wanted to insert the wings into my corset, so I created like a U shape with about 6 or 7 wire hangers that I had in my closet, and I taped them together with black duct tape. You just want the wires thick enough to the point where it can support your frame and the wings and the weight of everything all together. After I attached the wire to the frame, I flattened it out to fit comfortably onto my back, and I sort of tried it on to see how it would sit. It was a bit too long, so I trimmed the wires with a wire cutter to the perfect length and re-taped it back to the frame. The first mistake I made was using chicken wire as the foundation for my wings. It's way too stiff and it defeats the purpose of having a movable frame. My second mistake was measuring the chicken wire on top of each other for an exact shape. Because the wire is rolled in the first place, it naturally bends and curls in that way, so though one side curls in the direction I wanted it to, the other side flipped out the opposite way because of the way I cut it, so when I flipped it to the other side, it didn't work out, so don't do that. Securing with tape isn't enough, so I drilled a couple of screws in to keep the wire in place, and I sealed the ends that were poking out with hot glue. I taped the top of the frame with the duct tape, and I was ready to sew the fabric covers for the wings so I can attach the feathers. For the covers, I just measured and cut from black scrap fabric I had. And ignore my cat. He seems to have a fabric fetish that I'm not sure I knew he had, and a need to be troublesome whenever I am doing any type of crafting or artwork at all. So this was like for the rest of this project. Once you have the right shapes cut, pin the two sides together with the right sides facing in and sew them together. For the decorations, I was kind of making it up as I went along, so rather than using sharp skewer sticks for everything, I wrapped pipe cleaners with black electrical tape, and I spray painted some of them gold and red. I also sprayed this fabric trim gold to match the color scheme. I was pressed on time, and the feathers I ordered were nowhere near enough that I needed, so I bought about 2 yards of felt fabric and I cut out 2 different sizes of feathers for the base. I wanted the ends to have a little bit of stability, so I hot glued pieces of wire to one side of the large feathers and glued them together from both sides. Next, I layered the smaller feathers onto the frame and hot glued them in place. I did this on all 4 sides. I still wanted my wings to look full, so I shredded up a bunch of old fabrics and clothes that I didn't want anymore, and I hot glued them all onto the wings. I also divided the little bit of feathers that I did have, and I spread them out and glued them onto the wings, and now they don't look as bald as it would have if it was just by itself. I wanted glitter, so I sprayed in an adhesive and still sprinkled the glitter onto the wings, making it a hot mess. I spray painted beads and fake flowers that I had gold, silver, black, and burgundy. I made the frame off camera for the headpiece by adding wire to the metal headband for support, and I taped around the headband so that I could have a base to glue everything on. I also stringed beads onto the pieces of wire in no particular order of color scheme or design. Without a plan, I hot glued the taped and painted pipe cleaners, the fake flowers, and the beaded pieces onto the headband to create a large headpiece. I wanted to add more to the headpiece, so I hot glued golden spray painted skewer sticks to it. Since I wanted to be extra as I possibly could, I added pieces of chandelier beads around the headpiece. I hot glued rhinestones onto the petals of the flowers, and I also painted on and added glitter with Mod Podge to the skewer sticks and like the ridges and edges of the flowers as well. Jumping back to the final touches of the wings, I trimmed and glued the remaining pipe cleaners, the painted flowers, the beads, the rhinestones, and the fabric trim that we spray painted earlier, and I just decorated the rest of everything. So design it however you wish and just have fun with it. Other than that, that's basically it. That's how I created my headpiece and the wings to go with it. There was a lot of things that I could have done differently and a lot of things that I've learned. This entire thing, like building the headpiece and the frame and the wings, this was all my first time doing it, so it's a learning experience. Also, off camera, I attached a ribbon so I can put them on as straps because originally it was lightweight, but the more decorations, the more spray paint, the more everything that I added onto it, it just made the wings heavier and heavier and heavier, and I was already too deep in to turn back. So this was an experience. With that being said, don't forget to check out the original video, why I created this in the first place, the makeup look for the Guardians of Angel. I will leave a link for that in the description below. And I will wish you all a wonderful night, morning, evening, or afternoon whenever you're watching. Don't forget to click on that subscribe button if you aren't. And I will see you lovelies next time. Bye.